Hey guys, welcome back. So we're on day 52, reading the Bible. If you're new to my videos, I have decided to start reading the Bible and getting to know God. I pray every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and been reading the Bible every day, a few chapters at a time. And then I've been recording, sharing my journey because at first I wasn't entirely sure why I was doing it. God didn't really He just kept telling me to be patient, and I wasn't sure why he wanted me to record it and like share this journey. But I think I'm starting to understand more now. I think that, you meet a lot of people online that they're already past this journey. They've read the Bible multiple times. They're, well versed with the chapters and the word, and they pray all the time. They have God in their lives. And I notice there's not a lot of talk about things in the Bible that are kind of alarming, kind of like, whoa, a shock, like today's chapters. There's things that will be happen that to me is like, whoa, like it's kind of a shock. And I feel like I'm trying to share a realistic um, view of what it's really like bringing God into your life for the first time and reading the Bible for the first time. And I really want to share that with people in case you are wanting to bring God into your life and you're wanting to read the Bible. And maybe you already tried. Maybe you already tried starting reading the Bible, and you were like, "Whoa, this is crazy." Or there's stuff in there that's like, "Wow," and shocking. And like, why would anyone follow this? Trust me, I get it. I'm there. Like today's chapters, even I was like, "Whoa!" Like I had to pray about it a couple times because I was like, God, like what is going on? Why did you do this? Why did you ask these people to do these things? And you'll see when we get to those chapters. But um, so if you've clicked on my videos, please join me, read the Bible with me. We can, do this journey together. We can figure it out together and get to know God together and get to know His Word together and just open our minds and hearts to Him. Because I do truly believe that um, he's the way to transform your life and to live in his spirit, and he's going to help you. And I already feel changes in my life, and I really want that for others. So join me. And if there's anyone that's been watching with me already, welcome back. I really hope that you continue to read the Bible with me. So let's get started today. Real quick note, I'm trying a microphone again because I know sometimes my voice in my previous videos, the volume doesn't match the volume of the person speaking that's saying the chapters for the Bible. So I'm trying the microphone again to figure out how to make it sound more even and better quality. So let's give it a whirl.
To hold a sacred assembly in the seventh month, on the first day of the month, and you are not to do any daily work. This will be a day of trumpet blasts for you. Offer a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. One young bull, one ram, 7 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 male lambs. Also, offer one male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for yourselves. These are in addition to the monthly and regular burnt offerings with their prescribed grain offerings and drink offerings. They are a pleasing aroma offering to the Lord. You are to hold a sacred assembly on the 10th day of this seventh month and practice self denial. Do not do any work. Present a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing aroma, one young bull, one ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. All your animals are to be unblemished.
So I have heard that before multiple times, practice self denial, and I still have forgotten to look that up. But right before I started this video, I actually prayed to God and I asked Him to help me understand Him better, understand His word better, understand what He's trying to say. And so crazy. Like, I've heard that practice self denial multiple times already. And right now, as soon as I read it, I was like, I just understood what He means. And if someone disagrees, you can let me know in the comments. But this is what popped in my head as soon as I read it right now. It's so they talk a lot. I watch a lot of videos about people talking a lot about the flesh. You know, you have fleshly desires, you have fleshly sorry if I said that weird, fleshly desires and wants and needs. And you know, for example, you know, the flesh wants to sit there and watch YouTube forever instead of reading the Bible right now. So to practice self denial to me would be okay, deny myself YouTube and make myself go and read the Bible. So practicing self denial is like telling your flesh no, denying your flesh of what it wants that's going to take you away from God and His Word. That's just what popped in my head. People can let me know if I'm wrong. Please do if I'm wrong, but that's basically it's denying the flesh of things that are taking you away from God, taking you away from the Bible. So, because your flesh wants to do that sometimes, your flesh is going to fight you, which I've been experiencing a lot lately. So, I've been having really been having to be, um, what's the word? Disciplined. And I've been struggling, but I'm trying. So, all right, guys, let's keep going.
Their grain offering is to be of fine flour mixed with oil, 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. Offer 1 male goat for a sin offering. The regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offerings are in addition to the sin offering of atonement. You are to hold a sacred assembly on the 15th day, the 7th month. You do not do any daily work. You are to celebrate a 7-day festival for the Lord. Present a burnt offering, a food offering, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old. They are to be unblemished. Their grain offering is to be of fine flour mixed with oil, 6 quarts with each of the 13 bulls, 4 quarts with each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts with each of the 14 lambs. Also, offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the 2nd day, present 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and their drink offerings. On the 3rd day, present 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the 4th day, present 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the 5th day, present 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. On the 6th day, present 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, in proportion to their number. Also offer one male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering, with its grain and drink offerings. On the seventh day, present 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, in proportion to their number. Also offer one male goat as a sin offering. These are in addition to the regular burnt offering, with its grain and drink offerings. On the 8th day, you are to hold a solemn assembly. You are not to do any daily work. Present a burnt offering, a food offering, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old, all unblemished, with their grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs, in proportion to their number. Also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering.
So it's so wild right now. Like all this stuff that I've been reading for a while now has not made any sense. And now all of a sudden I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense now too. And it's crazy. It's because I literally, right before I started this video, I specifically prayed to God to ask Him to help me understand Him and His Word and with today's chapters and like to help me understand it better. And He is definitely coming through. So when it keeps talking about a pleasing aroma for the Lord, I have like never understood that. I'm like, my first thought was always, how does he smell it? You know, like, I don't know why that's my first thought, but it actually makes so much sense because when we are cooking food, like meat or something, whether it's like on the stove or the grill or whatever, um, that's a pleasing aroma to us. We enjoy that smell. You come home in the kitchen and you're like, oh, that smells so good. What is that? What are you cooking? So like to me, that's what I'm understanding is like why God keeps saying that is because God enjoys the smell of these offerings. I don't know why I never really like saw it before, like put two and two together. But to me, that's what popped in my head right now was it's as simple as that. It's a pleasing aroma to the Lord, just like it's a pleasing aroma to us. So, if I'm wrong, people can let me know, but that's just what pops in my head. So, which to me makes sense. And it's a simple, statement, which it's self-explanatory. It's a pleasing aroma, just like it is to us. It is the same to the Lord. How he smells it, I don't know. How God is everywhere, I don't know. How he's in our spirit, I don't know. And I don't want to know. It's too much for me to know. It makes my brain hurt. So we're here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I don't need to know how God did it. I just don't. It's too much for my human brain to understand, and I feel like it'll melt if I try to understand. So I've stopped trying to understand.
To the regular burnt offering, with its grain and drink offerings. Offer these to the Lord at your appointed times in addition to your vow and free will offerings, whether burnt, grain, drink, or fellowship offerings. So Moses told the Israelites everything the Lord had commanded him. Moses told the leaders of the Israelite tribes, "This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to put himself under an obligation, he must not break his word. He must do whatever he has promised. When a woman in her father's house during her youth makes a vow to the Lord or puts herself under an obligation, and her father hears about her vow or the obligation she put herself under, and he says nothing to her, all her vows and every obligation she put herself under are binding. But if her father prohibits her on the day he hears about it, none of her vows and none of the obligation she put herself under are binding. The Lord will release her because her father has prohibited her. If a woman marries while her vows or the rash commitment she herself made are binding, and her husband hears about it and says nothing to her when he finds out, Her vows are binding, and the obligations she put herself under are binding. But if her husband prohibits her when he hears about it, he will cancel her vow that is binding, or the rash commitment she herself made, and the Lord will release her. Every vow a widow or divorced woman puts herself under is binding on her. If a woman in her husband's house has made a vow or put herself under an obligation with an oath, and her husband hears about it, says nothing to her, and does not prohibit her, all her vows are binding, and every obligation she put herself under is binding. But if her husband cancels them on the day he hears about it, nothing that came from her lips, whether her vows or her obligation, is binding. Her husband has canceled them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or cancel any vow or any sworn obligation to deny herself. If her husband says nothing at all to her from day to day, he confirms all her vows and obligations, which are binding. He has confirmed them because he has said nothing to her when he heard about them. But if he cancels them after he hears about them, he will be responsible for her commitment.
So I've read these chapters a few times over the past couple of days, and that one I still just don't fully understand. Like, what vows and obligations? Is it like a general vows and obligation, or is it like specific to something specific? I don't know. And I'm not really like feeling like I'm getting any clarification right now, so I'm not entirely sure like what all that means. But I mean, it's pretty self explanatory, but I think I'm more hung up on what vows and what obligations. Like, is that a general thing? Like if she vows to clean the clothes today, I don't know. Or is it like something bigger, deeper? Is it a sexual of nature, intimacy nature? Is it of marriage nature? I don't know.
Statutes that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the relationship between a man and his wife, or between a father and his daughter in his house during her youth. The Lord spoke to Moses, "Execute vengeance for the Israelites against the Midianites. After that, you will be gathered to your people." So Moses spoke to
This right here, we're about to get into, is where I, the other day, was like, what in the world? Why would God go and tell Moses to tell his people, hey, go and round up your people and go attack, go get your vengeance? And I like that to me, I was like, why will God do that? Like, that's horrible. Let's just keep reading though.
equip some of your men for war. They will go against Midian to inflict the Lord's vengeance on them. Send 1,000 men to war from each Israelite tribe. So 1,000 were recruited from each Israelite tribe out of the thousands in Israel, 12,000 equipped for war. Moses sent 1,000 from each tribe to war. They went with Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, in whose care were the holy objects and signal trumpets. They waged war against Midian, as the Lord had commanded Moses, and killed every male. Along with the others slain by them, they killed the Midianite kings, Evi, Rechem, Zor, Hor, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The Israelites took the Midianite women and their dependents captive, and they plundered all their cattle, flocks, and property. Then they burned all the cities where the Midianites lived, as well as all their encampments, and took away all the spoils of war and the captives, both people and animals. They brought the prisoners, animals, and spoils of war to Moses, the priest Eleazar, and the Israelite community at the camp on the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho. Moses, the priest Eleazar, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses became furious with the officers, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds who were returning from the military campaign. Have you let every female live? He asked them. Yet they are all the ones who, at Balaam's advice, incited the Israelites to unfaithfulness against the Lord in the Peor incident, so that the plague came against the Lord's community.
So it explains right there a little bit why, you know, I feel like why God ordered them to be killed. I get it, kind of, they tried to get the Israelites to go against the Lord. So I get it a little bit. But for me, it's like, why would God want us to kill other people? Like, why didn't He just take care of it? Like by a plague or something, like how He's done in the past. He killed all those people in that one city way back earlier in the Bible. Um, I mean, I wonder if it's like because maybe He's trying to teach the Israelites, like, hey, like if you don't obey me and listen to me and follow me, this is what can happen to you. And they feel like maybe sometimes you have to see it firsthand and you have to have, you know, you have to see it in real time for you to really grasp the punishment that could be yours if you don't obey. I don't know. I don't know. I don't, it's still a little like, oof, why would God do that? But I mean, I know He has His reasons, but I'm feeling a little less shocked about it because I have read these chapters for a couple of days. But I don't know, maybe I'll understand more and more as I read the Bible and pray because a lot of the videos I've been watching have also said that the more you read the Bible, the more you read His Word, the more you pray, the more you get to know God, the more sit with Him in His presence, usually while praying, um, the more you'll get to know Him, the more you'll understand Him, the more you'll understand the Word, the Bible. And so that's kind of just where I'm at right now. So, and I've already promised that I was going to read the whole Bible, no matter what. So that's what I'm going to do.
So now, kill every male among the dependents, and kill every woman who has gone to bed with a man. But keep alive for yourselves all the young females who have not gone to bed with a man. You are to remain outside the camp for 7 days. All of you and your prisoners who have killed a person or touched the dead are to purify yourselves on the 3rd day and the 7th day. Also, purify everything: garments, leather goods, things made of goat hair, and every article of wood. Then the priest Eleazar said to the soldiers who had gone to battle, "This is the legal statute the Lord commanded Moses. The gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, and lead, everything that can withstand fire, you are to pass through fire, and it will be clean. It must still be purified with the purification water. Anything that cannot withstand fire, pass through the water. On the 7th day, wash your clothes, and you will be clean. After that, you may enter the camp." The Lord told Moses, "You, the priest Eleazar, and the family heads of the community are to take account of what was captured, people and animals. Then divide the captives between the troops who went out to war and the entire community. Set aside a tribute for the Lord from what belongs to the fighting men who went out to war. 1 out of every 500 people: cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats. Take the tribute from their half and give it to the priest Eleazar as a contribution to the Lord. From the Israelites' half, take 1 out of every 50 from the people: cattle, donkeys, sheep, and goats, all the livestock, and give them to the Levites who perform the duties of the Lord's tabernacle." So Moses and the priest Eleazar did as the Lord commanded Moses. The captives remaining from the plunder the army had taken totaled 675,000 sheep and goats. 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 people, all the females who had not gone to bed with a man. The half portion for those who went out to war numbered 337,500 sheep and goats, and the tribute to the Lord was 675 from the sheep and goats. From the 36,000 cattle, the tribute to the Lord was 72. From the 30,500 donkeys, the tribute to the Lord was 61. And from the 16,000 people, the tribute to the Lord was 32 people. Moses gave the tribute to the priest Eleazar as a contribution for the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. From the Israelites' half, which Moses separated from the men who fought, the community's half was 337,500 sheep and goats, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 people. Moses took one out of every 50, selected from the people and the livestock of the Israelites' half. He gave them to the Levites who performed the duties of the Lord's tabernacle, as the Lord had commanded him.
Okay, there you go, guys. We have it. So yeah, I mean, I felt a little bit better today. I think praying before I got started really helped, and I think I'm gonna start doing that more. And just asking God to like help me understand His Word, understand what He's trying to say, understand what He's meaning, understand Him better, and just open my mind, open my heart, because I definitely feel like the flesh is like fighting against me, and especially the enemy is like fighting me, so bad that today, while my daughter was eating lunch, I was just a mess emotionally, like a mess. And I had to sit there and close my eyes and pray quietly to myself while my daughter was eating lunch because I was such a mess. It was so bad. That's my daughter. I gotta get going. She woke up from her nap. But the praying worked. I feel much better. So pray, 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 pray. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.